Tina Hogan Grant here with my Cuppa A Natter that I do twice a week on a Monday. I like to invite authors into my home. We talk about books, writing, and a life as an author and anything that comes to mind. And this evening I have the wonderful Jeannée Sacken joining me. How are you this evening, my dear?
I am great. How are you?
I am good. I'm looking forward to talking about to you and about your adventurous life that you have lived because from what I'm reading, it's been quite the adventure and it's not stopping anytime soon.
No, it's not. I've been very privileged to have a lot of adventures.
Okay, what I want to talk to you first of all, I do want to say the book that we're going to be talking about mainly, the women who stand between them. I'm reading this and I absolutely am enjoying it immensely. My first question for you, though, is this based on your life? I mean, it says a novel, but is any part of it or from your experience in Zimbabwe, is it based on your life?
Oh yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Zimbabwe. I've been there 9 or 10 times, and of course, all writers use their own experiences and fictionalize them to some extent. I am not a cinematographer, and my main character is a wildlife cinematographer. I'm a wildlife photographer. So she does motion, I do stills. Um, uh, she becomes very involved with the Mambas, who are a fierce all female anti poaching unit. Um, I am very active with the Cobras, who are the male counterpart. The mambas do not exist in Hwange National Park. They are in all the other parks in Zimbabwe. Hwange is the biggest park in Zimbabwe and one of the largest on the African continent. And they have a male anti poaching unit. But the thing that is really cool is a lot of them were vetting the book. Um, Well, I know them and they read the manuscript and vetted it to make sure it was authentic and real and true. And
Right.
that's what I'm after. And so last spring, soon before it was going to be published, I get an email saying, we've been talking about it amongst ourselves, amongst the Cobras, and we've decided that we really ought to allow women in our group because of your novel. And
Wow.
so we're forming a women's unit called the Cheetahs.
Oh, I love the name.
I know, cheetahs. I adore cheetahs. So they have come to be, and they had their first graduating class. They got a unit of 4, which is what they need so that they can all 4 work together as a unit. And so that's been pretty cool.
Yeah,
So there
no,
are a lot of similarities. And I will say that a lot of the animal scenes throughout the book, I I photographed or videoed and then used them in the book.
yeah, there's quite a, I mean, I'm on page 100 and there's quite a few. I mean, what I love about your writing, and I said it behind the scene, is that you put me right in Zimbabwe on the first page. It was just, and I know very little of that part of the world, but I'm
Mhm.
just in the pages I have read through your book, I have learned so much. And one of the things I want to just ask you, I hear of the horror stories of the poachers, of the trophy hunting, which I just detest. I mean, I have nothing against hunting for food. If you're going to use the animal for food, I have no problem with that at all. I mean, like the US deer, etc. But these trophy hunters, the poachers, is there any, are they winning any kind of, how can I put this, gaining to stop that or ban it in any way in those part of the world? Because it's really
Well,
sad.
it's illegal
Right.
to poach, but there are 2 different kinds of poachers. There are the cartels that are run usually by non-Africans or sometimes by very entitled people in country, but usually they're run by bigwigs from China or from the Middle East, and they hire locals. They pay them next to nothing because they tell them, we gave you a gun, you have to pay that back. We bought you your camo uniform, you have to pay that back. And so these guys go out and poach elephants for their ivory, rhinos for their horns, and they get paid next to nothing. The thing to remember about Zimbabwe is, or the thing to know about Zimbabwe is the unemployment rate is between 85 and 90%.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's especially bad out in the rural areas. And of course, Hwange National Park, which is the jewel of a national park, is surrounded by all these villages in a very rural area. And so there are a lot of unemployed people, and they need to eat.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's survival.
It's survival. And so the other kind of poaching are people who are struggling to provide food for their family. And at some point in the book, the Mambas say, we shoot to kill, but we're not going to shoot if we know it's someone from a village taking down an antelope to feed the entire village.
Right.
If it's
like a catch-22.
It really is.
It really is. I understand that.
So one of the things.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, the win-win situation by forming these anti-poaching units is not only, and this is in real life and it's also in my novel, not only are they protecting animals and deterring poachers, but they're hiring local villagers to fill these jobs as the anti-poaching units. So they're getting regular paychecks. They're able to support their families. And these are some of the very people, whether they're male or female, who were working for the poaching cartels.
And now they've gone to the other side and getting paid to anti-poach. Interesting. Exactly. Now the trophy hunters.
The trophy hunters. Probably a lot of people know about the dentist from Minnesota.
Not me. Tell me more.
Well, he had actually been arrested for poaching, trophy hunting poaching, a number of years ago. But then in about 2014, 2015, he went to Zimbabwe. He paid his $50,000, and the trophy hunting team baited a lion out of the park, just right across the railroad tracks that run the length of the north side of the park, and they shot him and killed him. Unfortunately, it was an older male lion, but it was Cecil, who is the most well-known lion in all of Zimbabwe, and he lived in Hwange. People loved Cecil. And so now there are memorials set up for Cecil. And when you take the Elephant Express single car train down the railroad tracks along the edge of Hwange National Park, there is a memorial sign for Cecil on the spot where he was baited out of the park and killed.
That's so sad. Do they have to have permits and stuff to hunt and all this? I know nothing about this. I just hear the horror stories, I want to call them. Do they have to have permits and all of this stuff when they do this trophy hunting? Is there?
Yes, they do.
It can be banned.
No, the government supports trophy hunting, and there are a lot of people involved in that industry. It's something I cannot stand.
Yeah, me too.
And so I have a character in the book, Gus Sinclair, who has this magnificent lodge, and he has trophy hunters who come and stay there, and they call them canned hunts, but and they argue that they're bringing out members of the overpopulation of elephants or the overpopulation of lions. These species are all endangered.
Yeah, I believe it.
But the going rate for a lion is $50,000 paid in dollars. And so, of course, the government, I mean, the country is very poor now. And so the government is saying that this is helping support Zimbabweans by having these canned trophy hunts. If you want the head, it costs even more. And elephants cost more. If you get a really gorgeous male lion, fully maned in its prime, it's probably going to be more like $75,000 or $100,000. When you're bringing that kind of money into a country where unemployment is just, running roughshod, it can help, but an awful lot of that money is not going to the people.
That's my next question. Where's that money going? It's not going to the people. It's not going to the town. No. That's just my assumption, But I wanted to ask you firsthand because you've been into that country. So you just enlightened me a little bit, on why it's allowed. And, it's sad. It is.
Yeah, I think things are a little better now that Robert Mugabe is no longer president. There was a coup, and Emerson Mnangagwa became the president. But all of these guys, they all belong to the Shona people. That's the northern tribe. The southern is the Ndebele, but there are about 35 other smaller groups of people within Zimbabwe. The two main are the Shona and the Ndebele. And the government is almost completely Shona. And I mean, it's like a war between the two. Back in the 80s, the 1980s, Emerson Mnangagwa led a genocidal killing against the Ndebele.
Wow.
Yeah. With the authorization by Robert Mugabe to go in and rape all these women, kill all these people.
And this happened when?
In the 1980s. I think it was 83, 85, somewhere in there.
Good Lord. I know you've been over there a few times. We're going to talk about that too, but do they speak English over there?
Oh, yeah. It's one of the official languages.
Oh, really? See, something else you didn't know. I was going to ask you if you spoke their native language, but it seems like you already do.
Well, I speak a teeny tiny bit of Ndebele. It's one of those things where I have to review it every time I go over. But no, as soon as kids start going to school, they learn English. And people who are Zimbos, white Zimbabweans, grow up speaking English. So,
I had no idea.
Yeah, whenever I visit and whenever I go to Zimbabwe, I always make sure to visit a number of schools, and I sit and chat with the kids, and they're all absolutely fluent in English. It's one of their languages.
How many times have you been over there?
9 or 10.
So, almost second home, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, you know so much about it. I was reading a chapter in here about the episode of the airport.
That
I don't want to get happened. That actually happened. I wanted to ask you, that actually happened at the airport?
Well, there were 2 episodes. The first episode in Johannesburg, which I actually cut out of the novel. I was mugged, and basically in Joburg at the airport, there are all these people who will try to help you get to the right place, to the right gate. And, they have signs posted for this flight is going to Botswana, but it's really going to Zimbabwe. So it can get very confusing. And so these guys say they'll help you, and then they will snatch your purse, or if you try to tip them, they'll just rip money out of your wallet. But I had that in an early version and took that out. But Julia, the main character, meets Solomon, who is a Sangoma, a healer and a seer, a traditional healer and seer in Ndebele land in southern Zimbabwe. And what happened to me is pretty close to what happened to her. I was going in country to be the photographer on the Great Elephant Migration. And
whoa,
which is one of the great adventures of my life. And I get to customs and immigration, and I have a visa already. I have my forms, and they say, sorry, you can't come in. We're not allowing photographers in because there was an upcoming election and there had been an assassination attempt, was their excuse. Someone set off firecrackers at a stadium in Ndebele land in Bulawayo when Emerson Mnangagwa and his two vice presidents came to campaign. Now, not a soul in Bulawayo was going to vote for those three guys.
See?
But they set off firecrackers, and they said it was a bomb. And so then they said there couldn't be any large groups of people. Now they're telling me this in an airport full of people. And so they wanted a bribe. They were going to let me in. They just wanted a lot of money for it. Yeah. And I got some Zimbabweans to help me get in. And
no fee, I hope. Did you have to pay?
No, I didn't pay.
There you go. Good. I want to pause for a minute. We do have some people joining us. I've been ignoring them because I'm so intrigued by your adventures. All right. Again, I am talking to Jeannée Sacken. We are talking about her book, The Women Who Stand Between Us. I am reading this book and I love it. It is fabulous. She puts you right in Zimbabwe, which I've never been to, but I feel like I am there now. I really do. But let's see who is joining us. I'm going to just scroll up some of the comments. I like this one from Lori. She says, I can speak a limited amount of, I can't say it. How do you pronounce it?
Kiswahili.
Is that African?
It is, as Lori will tell you, it is spoken predominantly in Kenya and Tanzania.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit north.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. I want to scroll up. I'm just going through some of the comments because I've just been ignoring these people. I remember this. I'm in Western Wisconsin, and that was major news. She was talking about
the dentist who shot Cecil.
Okay. How come I missed that story? I don't know. Lori would like to know, I'm just going for some random questions. That you've written more than one novel. How many books have you written?
5.
5. We're going to talk about your other one soon. But when it comes to your writing, Lori would like to know, what's the hardest part of writing for you?
That's a really good question. I tend to write very fast, but before I start writing, I will spin a novel for months. And so once I start actually writing, I just fly. And I typically will have a solid draft after 2 months.
Wow.
And so I would say the spinning part. They say good writers are supposed to write every day, and I just don't. I
can't force it. I can't force it. I can't.
I just start spinning a story, and finally, when my muse shows up and sits right in that chair and says, "Now let's get going," I'm bringing the characters in. That's the easy part.
Do you plot the book at all, or you just sit down and just start writing?
I sit down and I start writing.
No plotting.
and I will start at 10 in the morning. I will go till midnight. My husband will, you see a door behind me, he'll stick his head in and say, "Are we having dinner tonight?" And I will say, "I cooked for you last week.
In the
Deal
fridge.
with it." And
That's funny. I'm just going to see who's here. We've got Elaine. She says hello. And then we have Lori Whitney. She says hello. Again, if you have any questions for Jeannée, put them in the comments, and I will get to as many as I can. Karen Geeling is here. She has a question for you. I'm going to pop up real quick for you. She wants to know if your family reads your books.
yes, they do. I have a very supportive brother who has something to do with golf tournaments in Georgia. And he likes to auction off sets of my books.
Oh, cool.
At these fundraisers to raise money for as part of this whole thing with the golf tournament.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I love that. Okay. Who else is here? We have Carol. She says hello. Then we have Virgie. I'm going down the list. We have Dana. Hello, ladies. Thank you for joining us.
This is so cool. I see all these people on the St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and thank you for being a part of that, by the way.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. And
I love doing events that bring the group and authors together, and where the readers can meet new authors, discover new books, and you get to meet new readers too.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. And we'll be having more in the group. I try to do 3 or 4 a year, depending on what holidays coming up. So I will keep you posted for the next one. Mary is here. She says hello. I think I just disappeared. Let's see. I'm just going to go down. This book, again, The Women That Stands Between Us. How long did it take you to write this one? You said it was 2 months for a first draft.
Well, that was a little misleading. I wrote this book first as a YA novel back in 2009. And I had a wonderful agent, one of the top YA agents in the country. And when I signed with her, she said, "This is going to go to auction." Well, it didn't go to auction. It didn't sell at all. And a couple years later, we were trying to decide what to do. And she said, "I don't think you're really a YA writer. I think you're a suspenseful women's fiction writer." And so I rewrote the book. And what I basically did was went on the Great Elephant Migration as a photographer. And when I came home, I said, I know exactly how I want to shift this from a YA novel to an adult novel. And I know what suspense I want to put into it. And the challenge was not to just tweak changes from the YA version to the adult version. It was really to set the YA version aside, which is right there on my shelf, and totally rewrite it. And so that is what I did. And it took, I wrote it from June 4th to July 27th. So however long that is.
It's a good sized book. It's 370 plus pages.
Yeah.
You did really good. Now, is there going to be a book 2, or is this a standalone?
I wrote it as a standalone, and when I got to the end, my characters said, "Seriously?
I've been there."
You totally get it.
Yeah.
So I do have a second book, a companion book.
Yay!
That is with the publisher.
The same characters? It'll have the same characters in the book?
It does. The title is Blessing, and there are a couple new characters, but mainly it's the same group.
And will it? I mean, I'm still reading this one, but will it take place in Zimbabwe too?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Got a release date?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm going to hold this question up. You may understand it. I'm not sure. The question is from Roy. Could you tell about the Bones experience?
I think what she wants me to tell you about is my very first trip to Zimbabwe in 1998. And this is actually fictionalized in the book. I went with a friend who was a photographer. This was back when I was a university English professor. And my friend said, "Hey, you want to go with us?" And I said, "Sure." So I got in a couple days early. This was my first time in Africa, Zimbabwe. Get in a couple days early. And I decided to have my bones thrown. And basically what that is you go to a sangoma, a healer, a seer, and they have 4 bones, and they're probably chicken bones, and they're beautifully carved. You hold them in your hand and you warm the bones. And as the sangoma said to me, now think about your problem. Think very carefully about your problem. And I'm thinking, I don't have a problem. I'm living the life. I'm a university professor. I direct a writing program. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. But I'm holding the bones. And so then I give them back to him. We're sitting on the ground. He throws them on the mat between us. And he looks up at me and says, "You did not do what I told you to do. You did not think about your problem. Do it again." So he gives me back the bones. And so I'm like, okay, come up with a problem. Come up. And so my thoughts went to my father, who had recently passed away. And the last words he said to me were, "Don't die with regrets.
Oh, wow.
You tell stories. That's what you should be doing." And then he died.
I'm so sorry.
Well, it was a loss, but it's also many, many years ago. And I was lucky to be there to have him give me his parting words.
Right.
So I'm sitting there in Zimbabwe holding these bones and thinking about my father saying, "Don't die with regrets." And that I sort of morphed that into my problem. Should I be teaching? Should I be doing something else? And so I'm focusing on the bones. I give them back to him. He throws them on the ground. He's looking at them. He finally looks up, and I had told him nothing about myself other than my name. He looks up and he says, "You're a teacher. You teach English at a university."
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, that's a little scary.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, yes, I do." He said, "But you have stories to tell." And he said, "You're also going to be a photographer, and you're going to tell stories with your pictures, and you need to tell stories with your words." And I was like, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. And he said, "You have to do what makes you happy."
Mm-hmm.
And I stood up and said, "Okay, if I ever write a book, this is going in the book."
Yeah. That's incredible. That's crazy.
So it did. As you continue to read, you will see that there is a sangoma named Solomon. You've already met Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
And he is one of the most powerful sangomas in Ndebele land in southern Zimbabwe. So that's another thing I have fictionalized.
I've been taking a lot of baths this week because that's the only time I can read. So I'm really clean this week. I've been bathing almost every night.
Congratulations.
Because that's the only time I get to read. I'm looking at the time. We're halfway through our chat, which I'm enjoying immensely, but we have a treat because you're going to read to us.
I am.
You okay to do that now?
Sure, I'd love
Okay.
to.
I'm going to hand it over to you.
Okay, this is the first chapter in The Women Who Stand Between. Zimbabwe, early August 2017. The lions arrive at the waterhole late in the afternoon, the moment when the western sky blazes red with the setting African sun. There are 5 of them, all males, possibly brothers. From where I'm standing, on top of the steel shipping container partially buried in the Kalahari sand, they look to be fairly young, their golden manes still just a fringe around the head. I'm guessing they've only recently been kicked out of their natal pride and sent off to fend for themselves until they're strong enough to take over a pride of their own. The heat of the dry season has left them thirsty. From the looks of their sunken flanks, they're probably also hungry, very hungry. A go-away bird screeches its warning to the rest of the animals. The zebras, their black and white striped coats glimmering in the rosy light, paw the sand into clouds of dust to conceal their retreat. Already skittish, the large kudu backs away from the water's edge. He ducks his whorled horns for a moment, then sprints into the nearby Mopane woods, his harem in close pursuit. I look at the 50-some elephants knee-deep in the water. Mothers trumpet to their frolicking calves, gathering them close and draping their trunks across the babies' backs. Safe for now. But hungry lions can wait them out. There's no way the cats will just have a drink and leave. The prospects for a meal are too good. Completely exposed, I wonder if maybe my crew and I should retreat down inside the hide. Next to me, his legs dangling over the edge, our intrepid guide, Tandarai, doesn't seem at all worried. He can read animals better than anyone I've ever worked with. Of course, he's also got a Winchester 375 hunting rifle, a gun that packs a wallop of a kick and can bring down an elephant with a single shot. He's also got a belt of seriously big cartridges buckled around his waist. Unlike me, I'm operating Cine camera number 1 and am positioned directly in front of the water, the best possible place to record this segment of the great elephant migration across Zimbabwe's Hwange National Park. Standing behind me, one of the sound guys with his boom and a guy from lighting who keeps a close eye on his tungsten panels. I look down the length of the waterhole to the solar-powered pumping station, the second best place from which to be filming, and wave at the rest of the crew. 2 more guys on lighting and sound. Kyle on camera number 2 is intently filming the lions. He's a great guy to partner with. Anything I miss, he's sure to get. We're that in sync. Next to him, our director, Hal De Beers, raises his hand in return. Hal is one of the best wildlife documentary directors around. I'm beyond lucky to be working with him. My camera secure on its tripod, I get back to filming and hope for some action. The lions finish drinking and lift their heads, eyeing the Ellies. One by one, they push themselves to their feet and amble casually along the edge of the water until there are lions stationed equidistant all the way around the waterhole and around the elephants. I zoom in on a couple of the lions until I can see their muscles tensing. They mean business. Their strategy is obvious. With no hope of bringing down one of the mothers, they're aiming to create enough fear so the elephants will eventually charge out of the water. In the resulting chaos, they'll pick off a youngster. Trapped, the elephants watch. Besides an occasional flap of the ears, they seem calm, deceptively calm, and infinitely patient. I'm shifting my focus to the elephant who looks to be the matriarch when, in the blink of an eye, she lifts her trunk and bellows. The mothers splash their enormous gray bodies through the water, forming a protective ring around the youngsters. Next to me, my producer and boss, Alex Silver, rests his hand on my shoulder. His question is clear. Are you getting this? And damn it, he knows I am. He sees the rushes at the end of the day. He knows I'm getting some friggin' great footage. He also knows the number one rule of the game: no talking. So why does he always have to follow up with a stage whispered question? This is great stuff, Julia, but you know, it's getting kind of dark. You sure you're getting it all? Then his hand trails slowly down my back, lingering at my waist, way too close to a caress, and not for the first time. Take your fucking hand off me. Not that I can risk my job by saying it out loud. All I can do is step sideways away from his proprietary grasp and trust editing to take care of his talking in post-production. Please let him start hanging out with Kyle instead of me. Another trumpeting bellow, this one much louder than the matriarch's and a lot closer. I ease the camera around and focus on the huge bull Ellie just now rounding the front corner of the hide, maybe 15 feet from where I'm standing. His enormous tusks reach nearly to the ground, a super tusker. There's a bit of a swagger to his step, and now he's raising his trunk high above his head, all the better to sniff out the tense situation in front of him, and of course the humans atop the hide. Trailing behind him, 3 other large males. Put them together, and they probably weigh close to 50,000 pounds. I spot the telltale hormonal secretions running down the lead elephant's temple. This guy's in must, which means he's got 60 times the normal level of testosterone coursing through him, making him totally unpredictable, not to mention ready to go on a rampage at a moment's notice. From the corner of my eye, I see Tandarai scramble to his feet and clasp his rifle, poised to lift it into position and fire. Probably just a warning shot. The last thing any of us wants to do is kill an Ellie. The elephant stops right in front of me. Before I have a chance to react, to maybe dive to the roof of the shipping container, he swings his head toward us. As his trunk arcs over my camera, I absolutely freeze, which is exactly the wrong thing to do.
Thank you so much. Right there in Zimbabwe. I love the opening of this book. Really, really good. Thank you so much. I want to read part of your bio because then I want you to answer Lori Whitney's question that I made a note of because I won't be able to find it again. But I just want to read out part of your bio. Number one, and I told you about this, is MKE Lifestyle magazine quoted you as Indiana Jones with a camera. And I just absolutely love that. I do. But then it goes on to say, you have canoed the Zambezi River, kayaked the North Pacific, driven through far western Mongolia in the blizzard. Many of your ventures are in your books. Lori Whitney's question is, what's on your bucket list? You've done so much already. Is there anything left?
There is. I would love to. I have been to all 7 continents, a whole lot of countries. I have never been to India. And I would very much like to go to central India and to the tiger sanctuaries and photograph tigers.
Wow, you have seen so much that we just see on things like National Geographic, but you are right there. You are right there. I'm so envious. And then Carol had a very interesting question earlier also. Carol Newts. She asked, what advice would you give to someone visiting Zimbabwe?
Embrace.
Yeah.
I adore Zimbabwe, and I heartily recommend it to everybody. You will go to the national parks in Zimbabwe, and you won't see any other tourists. It'll just be you and the animals. When you go to Kenya, they've got the whole tourist thing down pat, but you'll have one lion and 20 vehicles surrounding the lion.
Oh, wow.
When I was the photographer on the Great Elephant Migration, the only people we saw other than our guides and our fixers and our rangers were the people on our crew. That was it. So it was, as I did the Great Elephant Migration, it was 35,000 elephants and our little crew in a Jeep. So I heartily recommend going to Zimbabwe. I would absolutely, if you do, I would go to Hwange National Park. It's a gorgeous park, and you'll see animals.
Animals, animals. Yeah.
You won't see a whole lot of people.
You traveled, like you said, to all 7 continents, and this might be hard to narrow down, but if I say to you, out of all the adventures you've done, which one sticks out for whatever reason and why? Like a favorite, or not, I'm going to say horrific or dangerous. Is there one that specifically just stands out?
Well, I absolutely adore Southern Africa. I love Zimbabwe. I've traveled a lot there, also to South Africa, to Namibia, Botswana. And so I really love that part. Probably the adventure I've had that first comes to mind is when I summited Kilimanjaro.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. You have done it all, almost. Are you still doing photography now? Are you just now full-time author? You are still doing photography. And is it overseas, or is it, you are in the US, correct? You are in the US.
I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin right now.
Okay. So the photography you do, is it mainly in the US, or are you traveling a lot for that too still?
Most of my photography is out of country.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. I want to read all your books now. Let's talk about your other books. The other one that you have, you said there's 4 books in the series. It's called the Annie Hawkins Series.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those to see? Okay, behind me. I wanted to see the covers to see which ones you have. You have some next to you. Behind the Lens. Now, is that book 1?
That is book 1.
Okay.
And that is about a seasoned photojournalist who, when she is embedded with coalition forces in Afghanistan in 2005, she takes a picture of a feisty 10-year-old Afghan village girl, and that causes the Taliban in the village, who are hidden in the village, to shoot her military escort and the girl. And Annie is really not at fault, but she blames herself. To atone for that, she returns a number of years later to teach a photography workshop in a girls' high school that is run by her best friend and college roommate, Daria Faludi. And bad things happen.
Do you have a book 2 there? That one is called Double Exposure. Now, do these books have to be read in order? Or they're like individual?
They don't have to be, but there is a definite chronology.
Okay, and the same characters go through the books?
And there's also a love story that there's suspenseful women's fiction with a thread of romance and a twist of thriller. And so it makes more sense if you read them in order.
If you know the whole story, that makes sense.
Yeah. And Double Exposure is about Annie's main character is Annie Hawkins, and she is divorced, and she shares custody of her 15-year-old daughter with her husband. And her daughter is quite feisty, and she and her friends raise money to build a new girls' high school in Afghanistan and tell Annie she has to deliver the money on her next assignment in Afghanistan. And bad things happen.
No. The rule is backwards.
The rule of thirds.
Okay, there we go. Rule of thirds. Okay.
They all have photographic titles. And this is an interesting book. This takes place in 2021. I had written a book. And then August 15th, 2021 happened, and I sat in front of my computer watching the Taliban drive their vehicles into Kabul and take over the entire country without a shot being fired in Kabul.
Oh.
And I realized that the book I had written was tone deaf and I could not publish it. And so I saved the first chapter and deleted the entire rest of the book.
Oh my God.
And rewrote this book. And this is Annie returns to Afghanistan for probably the final time. She has PTSD from her previous experiences, but she wants to cover the story of the Taliban. Probably one of the great stories of the decade. And she also wants to help the women and men who have helped her over the years on assignment in Afghanistan to get them out of country.
Wow. You take us to places that we can only read about.
Yeah. So, and then the last one is it's a little novella.
Okay.
And I had fully intended for the series to be done with the rule of thirds. But then book clubs would tell me, we want to know what happened. Because Annie, in the first book, falls in love with a U.S. Navy SEAL who gets promoted through the ranks. And then he ends up in the rule of thirds. He is a rear admiral. And what happens between them? And so this addresses.
So that's like a short prequel. Is that a prequel to the book?
It's a sequel.
It's a sequel. Okay.
Yeah, it's the very end.
Okay, got it. I wanted to put up. Sometimes I have a hard time going back to the comic for some reason, but Colleen Blackburn is raving about the first book in the series. I want to put the comments up because who doesn't like nice comment? Here we go. She put this one up first. Good evening. So nice to see you behind the lens. It's so good. And then further down, she wrote, where did it go? Here it is. Perfect blend of romance and adventure, crazy daughter, fascinating relationships. I want to make sure you saw that from Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen. That is so kind of you.
She enjoyed that book, and I'm enjoying the women who stand between us. I want to talk about your covers. I love how the covers all matching the series, and this one with the photography in the background of the elephants and the citizens. Are these your photos, number one, on the cover? No. And did you have any say on any of the covers? And
I did.
Books and this one. This is a beautiful cover.
Thank you. That is actually 10.
Yeah.
That is 10 screens of color.
Really?
To make that cover. I have an incredible publisher. I am with 1016 Press, which is an imprint of Orange Hat Publishing. It is a medium-sized publisher located in Wisconsin. And I actually was their, behind the lens, was their first traditionally published book for adults. And so they had me sit down with their cover designers and walk through what I wanted with the Annie Hawkins series. And because it would make sense because I'm a photographer and it's a book about a photographer to have a photograph on the cover. But I thought that would also be kind of limiting to the story. And so I said I wanted a graphic cover, but that I also wanted something that would carry through the entire series. So you never really see Annie's face. In the first one, she is behind the lens. The second, you see her profile. And the third, you see the back of her head.
Interesting.
But it's the same color tones throughout that
Right.
series.
Yeah.
That cover designer left and a new one came on to do the novella cover. So we had the same color tones, and it's also a graphic, but it's not really, I mean, it fits, but it's a little bit different.
It's not from the same designer, so that makes
Right. And
And
then
then this cover is someone completely different, obviously.
it is. I wanted something that was completely different, but you could believe it was the same author and the same publisher, that there would
Okay.
be some similarity. And it is a photograph, but
Right.
it's not my photograph.
And then I saw the elephants right here too, and I was wondering if maybe that was one of your images
It
from
isn't. And there's a lion down at the bottom hidden behind my last name. And
Oh, there sure is. I love
and
pictures, but if you look at them more than once, you discover something new.
yeah, and that's what I wanted, because
well,
that
it
is
works.
exactly what it's like being in country in Zimbabwe. You rise up in your Jeep and you see something off to the side. There are animals coming out of the bush, and it's
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 so much
magic.
to see. So much to see. I want to put up one last question. I'm checking our time here. From Carol. Yeah, Carol News. She would like to know, did you have training as a photographer, or did it just come naturally?
Hi, Carol. I have had the most incredible experience as a photographer. I started on my own without much training at all. And I have a sister-in-law who is an incredibly fine photographer, sells her work through Sotheby's.
Yeah.
She's just phenomenal. My husband had a great deal of training and is a very fine photographer, especially in black and white. And so I got pointers from them. And after I left academia, resigned my tenure, decided to become a photojournalist, I immediately started having gallery shows all over the place. I mean, it's sort of unheard of. And then because of that, I was able to get into master classes with
Wow.
some of my favorite wildlife photographers. And so I sort of did it backwards. I was taking classes after I was having gallery shows.
But you're a natural, it sounds like.
Yeah.
You are a natural.
My sister-in-law and my husband always have said that I have an eye.
I
And
mean,
you
I
can
looked at some of your
see,
images on Instagram. Gorgeous pictures.
well, and I have a lot of
Do you have a calendar?
collections.
Do you have a calendar? You should have a calendar.
I don't have a calendar, but I have a website. And if you go to the last page in my website, go to the menu and you'll see photographs or galleries or something like that. And there are probably 10 galleries of images from around the world.
Gorgeous work. And it's JeanneeSacken.com is your website. All right. Before we sign off, you're doing a giveaway. So if you're going to, oh, that's right. Excuse me. Yeah, you're being very generous. Thank you so much. And the giveaways are one of each, two winners, right? One book for each winner.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
perfect. I will announce the winner in the group and on my author page in a couple of hours. I will email you, Jeannée, with the winner and the addresses. I am also doing my giveaways. It's a $5 Amazon gift card. And all you have to do is just share this video from my author page. You can share it as many times as you want. The more times you share it, the more times you are entered, but do tag me and you'll be entered into the giveaway for a $5 Amazon gift card. This has been an amazing chat. I could go on for so much longer. You have so many stories to tell. You need to write a lot of books so we can hear them all. But before we sign off, do you have any last words?
Yeah, I just want to say there are a number of people who are on tonight who probably have one of those two books. So if they do, and they would like one of the other books, I can certainly accommodate that. So if a name is drawn, and basically you can pick your title.
Okay, so they have a choice. Let's
Yeah.
just do that. Two winners. They get a choice from either book 1 of the Annie Hawkins series or The Women Who Stood Between Us. They get a choice.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. This has been fascinating. Oh, real quick before we go, where can readers find you?
I am on Facebook, just at Jeannée Sacken. I'm on Instagram, Jeannée Sacken author, or maybe it's author Jeannée Sacken, but you can find me. And my website is JeanneeSacken.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, readers, for everyone for being here and for the wonderful questions. And I'll see you back in the group. Thank you, Jeannée. It's been wonderful. Have a good night.
Thank you, Tina. It has been a delight. And thank all of you for tuning